Hello, my darlings, and welcome to another Bedroom Guru with me, Nicky. I'm not looking too great, am I? I've been in a crash for a few days, so I haven't been on here. I haven't been able to do anything. I haven't even been able to go live on Facebook. This is the beauty and the volatility of ME. It decides when it's going to hit you, and then it just smashes you down. The beauty is, though, is that I can stay in here in the cozy warm, watch watch bed sets, watch box sets, and do all my admin in my PJs with a cup of tea, which is nice. But I thought I'd add this on because I'm planning. I haven't been able to talk very well because my throat's been really rough. But I thought I'd put this on here because you're like, where's Nicky? Where's she gone? I hardly see her on here. And I've had, oh my God, so many lovely emails from people saying how much these videos help you. And it's just really keeps me going. So thank you for that. This next thing I'm going to talk about is something really, really special. And it's something I'm going to plan as my next guided meditation as well. I always look at what's the most popular. And the most popular guided meditation so far is the one about visiting heaven. So many people have had good results from it. And so it got me thinking. And one of the places that I used to go to, I remember years and years ago when I first started really seriously developing, and I was in my 20s actually, it's only 10 years ago, yeah, right. And basically it was a meditation where I'll just meditate, see where I go. And I ended up going to this place. I can only describe it really as almost like the Walt Disney Castle. There was loads of turrets, but it was beaming white. It was glittering with white jewels, like white crystal. And it was like all clouded around it at the bottom. I remember the first time I went there, I got to the door. It was a colossal door, huge door. And this angel opened it. Big white robes. He had long blonde hair, bright blue eyes. And he smiled at me and said, "You're welcome here now." So I went into the foyer and there was various chambers I could enter into. Some of them he guided me to or told me where to go, and others I just walked through. And at the end of the day, when you do meditation, you think, oh, is it my imagination or, is it real? But I kept going to this place. And then I ended up talking to someone at a psychic meeting once, and they said, "Oh yeah, that's the Crystal Palace. Have you never heard of it?" I went, "No." And they said, yeah, it's like a really special place. It's like it's basically like a man-made image, if you like, so that we can, absorb it in our heads. And it holds different layers of the universe, of the angel realms, blah, blah, blah. So I went, right. So I started visiting more and more because I was so excited. And I was taken to all sorts of different places. Archangel chambers, the omnipresence chamber. And that's how I found the layer of reality, which is heaven, where all our souls go after we've had our lifetime down here. And I ended up visiting my nan, and that's what gave me the inspiration to do Visiting Heaven, the guided meditation. And what was even more incredible is I drew a map of where everything was. This area where I sensed to the left was this, and this was there, and this was that. And incredibly, when I started to teach people and do meditations, like group meditations, I would take people to the palace, and they'll go in, and then so I turned right past this angel, and I went into this room, and it was like blah blah blah. And when they described it, I'm like, oh my God, I know exactly what they're talking about, right? So they started corroborating where I'd been, which is impossible if it's my imagination, because I was a bit, doubtful. But oh my God. And over the years, when I've taken people to the Crystal Palace, they've continually backed up what area is what specific chamber to what I've seen and experienced. And more people were experiencing the same thing. And they said, "Oh, I went there as well." And it's just incredible how people have corroborated exactly the same chambers and the same areas that I have. So I know it's real. Of course, I know it's real now, but it was nice for it to be corroborated over the years by students. So I thought, right, what am I going to do? I've had a lot of time to think while I've been sitting here, nursing my weary body. And I thought, wow, I know where I'm going to take you. Now, this is my experience, and this is what my next guided meditation is going to be like. If my throat holds up, I will record it tomorrow for you. If I can get that nice illicit tone that I get when I do my guided meditations, if I can do it tomorrow, I will, or I'll do it as soon as I can. Now, this place is called the Cherubim Chamber as part of the Crystal Palace. Okay, I've been there many, many times. My first experience of when I walked in there was, as I walked in, there was this pool in the middle of a room, and it was like milk. It reminded me of, do you know when they talk about Cleopatra and she was in a like milky pool? It reminded me of that. And when I looked up at the walls, there were like these golden gilt cherubim, you know, like the big fat cherubim you see everywhere, you know, in cards and whatever, pictures. And they were all stuck, and they were all friendly and cute and lovely, and they were all around these four walls. It was absolutely stunning. It was beautiful. And I knew instinctively that I had to walk into the pool. So I walked up the end of the room, and there were steps leading into the pool, okay? And when I got into the pool, I was aware, I was standing chest height, and I was aware as I looked around me, there was, the only way, the best way I can describe it is electric tadpoles, right? They were like electrified tadpoles. They were like bright fluorescent colours, and they were like swimming all around frantically around this pool. I'm like, wow, this is a bit weird. And then I felt like I needed to float on my back, which again many students have experienced and done as well. And as I floated on my back, I looked up, and there were cherubim also on the ceiling. And I remember feeling like bolts of electricity, and I remember my hairs going up on my arms, and I felt and looked down, and I could see these tadpole things like going in and out of my soul. I'm like, this is really weird. And then when I looked up to the ceiling, these cherubim then started to come out of the ceilings and the walls, changed from golden gilt to almost like a human form, and they had like, you know, smiles on their faces. And then they sat around the pool looking in at me. So I almost felt like I had submerged a little bit, and I had the water running over me, and I could see through the surface all the cherubim looking at me, smiling. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. And then someone, I don't know if it was Angel Realms, whoever, said to me, this is a pool of reckoning. It's a pool of divine truths. I'm like, right, okay. And so it said, when you go in here, you're basically shown visions of your soul and where it is and what it's doing and how it is. And they called the little tadpoles sentient, and they said the sentients come in and judge and review your soul. So then I started seeing visions of what I needed to take myself forward in life, what I needed to solidify my spirituality, la 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 la. And it was incredible. And then the angel smiled and then turned back, went back into the walls, and I came back at the pool, came back and ended the meditation. This carried on going on. And there was various advice I was given on how to make myself feel better, how I was meant to work spiritually. There was advice on what to share with you guys. And it was just a remarkable place to go. But then it took a bit of a turn, and I was pooing myself at the time, but then I realised it was a lesson for me to share with everybody else. And funny enough, it was implemented in my fiction book, Earthwalkers. So I went in one day, got into the pool, the sentients were there doing their thing, having a little look around my soul, and then I laid back, and then all the cherubim came out, looked around the pool, and it was really scary because some of their faces turned, right? It's like they had four faces, and their heads turned, and there were lions and some were oxen, like ox heads. And I'm like, what the hell? And it looked really scary. I thought, Jesus. And then the pool started bubbling around me, and I'm like, this ain't great. And then it felt like I was being pulled apart in pieces. It was really weird. And then it looked like, it's really hard to explain all this, all right, because you must think, if anybody comes across this and doesn't know me, they think, Looney Tune, do you know what I mean? But loads of people have, experienced it. So then I felt like I was being pulled away and looking, right? And so it wasn't really my soul. They were showing me something. And all of these bits of my soul were fragmented, and these sentients were going in each bits of the soul, right? And then the bubbling got even more fervent, there was like bubbling, like boiling water, and then the water turned black. And then suddenly I looked, and it was almost like the bubbling in the sentience came into this frenzy, and I watched as there was like this minor explosion, like a geyser, And then when I looked, all the fragments just dissipated into this water. And then very slowly, the water calmed, turned back to white. The cherubim's faces turned back round to their friendly face, and then they flew back into the wall. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God. So I was like, wow, that's really, really scary. So I came back out, and there was an angel standing at the doorway, and I'm like, what just happened there? He said, we were showing you the pool of divine truth and judgment upon your soul. And he said, God doesn't judge you. Your own soul does. I'm like, right. So it kind of made me feel like the karmic repercussions of what we've done on the earth plane, you are faced with it. And what happens is you're almost laying or residing in your own energy. So if you're a nasty person, you'll be laying in this nasty, horrible black filth that happened, right? I think I've mentioned this before in a video. But if you're obviously doing well and you're a pure soul and you're here for the greater good, then they obviously will guide you, love you, smile upon you, and help you to take yourself further forward spiritually, perhaps, you know, help you with earth life situations. I'm like, wow, okay then. And it wasn't until I was writing my Earthwalkers book when I was during my journey, when I was in bed, it was implementing the pool of divine truth into the book. And then just out of interest, I thought, I'm just going to Google this, right? I couldn't believe it. I Googled, I think I put in pool cherubim judgment, right? And it came up and I couldn't believe it, right? It came straight up and it referred to the Old Testament, right? And it referred to the cherubim as being the right hand of God. And it talks about they shall be judged by the cherubim, the right hand of God, right? And once you are judged, the faces will turn to oxen and lion to judge your soul. Right, I'm like, holy shit. Now, I've never read the Old Testament, right? I've read the New Testament and gone through the Bible just so that I can stand my ground with certain religions when they call us witches and all the rest of it, right? And I thought, shit. So what the angel had told me and what I'd experienced, right, was basically directly correlates with these entries in the Old Testament. I'm like, flipping hell, right? So I then went into meditation and spoke to Giannis about it, one of my main guides, and he said, the pool. I'm like, he goes, God doesn't judge you. He says, when you go up and you have your life review with Archangel Jeremiah, if there are things that you've done wrong, so let's look at the murderers, the paedophiles, the horrible people of this world, right? They basically are shown what they've done wrong, and then Jeremiah basically directs them and says, you have to go to the pool of the divine truths. So there's two ways of going. You either go to the pool or you go to the reality layer and meet up with your loved ones, right? So I'm like, okay then. And so he said, and once you're in the pool, he goes, so all the bad people, if they've created bad in their life, what they've created will come back on them 100-fold in the pool. And the sentients go in, sense and find out everything that's bad in the soul, and then they come up with their deliverance, and then the pool basically will dissipate your soul. So the likes of, say, Hitler and people like that, I feel that their soul has been completely decimated in this pool, right? Because your soul has judged yourself through your own behaviour. Does that make sense? So it's a massive thing. And obviously, if you're alone in the pool and you get the cherubim that are really cute turn into oxen heads and lion heads, you're in the shit. If it starts bubbling, you're doubly in the shit. And so that's what I saw. So I said, well, what about hell? And he goes, it's just a man-made concept of a different layer of understanding. And he said, yes, there is a negative vibration that reverberates through the consciousness of the planet. He said, yes, there are negative people that will naturally attract those negative low energies. So he didn't really go too much into entities and non-human entities, because that's not my bag. My bag is love, light, angel realms, and what I can do for the greater good for all of you guys. So yeah, there they are. but I don't really know a lot about them, to be fair, and I really don't need to because it's not my bag. And I have been taken to purgatory, which is where souls are stuck, and that kind of looked like a hell to me, where, and again, it's your own soul decides it. Some souls don't want to go up to spirit world, so they stay in this energy in between, and I was taken there many years ago, many years ago, just to show me what it's like and how it feels. And these are people that are judging themselves or know they've done wrong, so they're almost judging themselves prior to getting to Jeremiah, then going to the pool. Does that make sense? So that was my experience of the Cherubim Chamber. So while I've been laying down in agony, exhausted, but it's a bonus because you get food cooked for you and dinners, love it. Get a bit spoiled. Always got to find the positives in an ME crash, right? And I basically thought, God, you know, what am I doing? There's only a certain amount of people that know about the chambers and know about the Crystal Palace, right? So I thought, I'm going to share this. This is my next thing I'm going to do, because there are so many guided meditations for stress, anxiety. I'm still going to do things like that, but there are not a lot that take you to these most amazing places where you will go beyond anything you could possibly imagine if you let yourself go and go with it, right? And so I decided that the first place I'm going to take you is the Cherubim Chamber. And when you see on the guided meditation Crystal Palace series, and then it will be the chamber underneath, know that it's part of the layers of heaven that I'm going to take you to, right? Some of you may not be able to get there, first of all, because it really is exceptionally hard vibration to stay in without you coming out of it or not even being able to get into it. It's a high vibration, but most of you, if you keep working at it, will get there, okay, with my guidance. So the Cherubim Chamber, you're like, well, I don't really want to boil. You won't boil, Jesus, unless you've killed someone or you're a total maniac or whatever you are. But you wouldn't be watching this. I don't think you'll be watching this. The benefit of it, people came back in tears saying they've been in this white milky pool surrounded by cherubim. I'm like, oh my God, I know where they've been, right? And I hadn't told them anything prior, so it wasn't like I was subliminally giving them this information, okay? And so they go into the chamber and they had the most magnificent journeys in this pool. Almost like all the good they've done came back to them in that pool. And, you know, they were served with visions and help and guidance to do with things that were troubling them in their subconscious being, in their lives down here. And, you know, people were coming back euphoric, people were coming back rested, people were coming back like they'd solved all their problems, people were coming back, as I say, in tears. And so I thought, what a special place to introduce you to the Crystal Palace in taking you to the Cherubim Chamber. I was going to actually record these and sell them. But with COVID, not being able to get into studios, oh, sod it, I'll give it to you now for nothing. You all deserve it. We all deserve it, all this crap going on. And I would really love to hear your feedback on this subject once you get there, okay? As I say, the first one I did, Visiting Heaven, so many people have gone out and been reunited with their loved ones, which is incredible. And I'm like, wow, people are actually doing it and sitting with their mums, dads, and God knows what. It's just perfect. So this one, I really want, it's an experiment. You know, some of you might get up, some of you won't, but it is a most unique, pure, most perfect place you could ever be in. And so I really do want to hear your feedback on what your experiences were on this, okay? So I just thought I'd do this little video, one, to let you know that I am still here, but I have been poorly for a couple of days, and it stopped me from doing these videos, my readings and all the rest of it. And as I say, if my voice is a bit stronger tomorrow, I will record the guided meditation to the Cherubim Chamber, the Pool of Divine Truth. And I can't wait to see what your results are. With this current climate, with the potential of a second lockdown, which I predicted months and months ago, you know, Pop's going to go back downhill again mentally. So I'm going to try and provide you with as much escape as I possibly can through these videos. Okay, my darlings. So I'm going to stop now because I'm tired already. It's so pantsy to crashes. It's so bloody annoying. However, not going to lie, whacking through the box sets. Money Heist on at the moment. Oh my God, it's so good. You've got to watch it. It's very, very spiritual of me, isn't it? Very spiritual. But yeah, I've got to be real at the end of the day. That's what I do. Box sets and admin in my PJs. So, darlings, that's the Cherubim Chamber for you. I just thought I'd give you the introduction now rather than rabbit about it before the meditation CD, so I can go straight into it. So I recommend watching the whole of this so you kind of know what experience you're going into. Burning hot. Know what experience you're going into, so that you can then know what you're expecting, you know. But obviously you're not going to know what's going to happen as soon as you get into the pool. That's the exciting bit. And remember, you can go back in there as much as you want. You can go back in there as many times as you want. I used to go back there every day. I was so excited. And then they took me to another chamber, and as I say, I'll take you to all these different chambers. They're incredible. Like, there's so many helpful things you're going to get from visiting heaven. So I'll love you and leave you, darlings. As I say, if I'm well enough, I will record it tomorrow. For all the people that weren't that have been asking about the online tarot course, again, me crashing and trying to catch up from holiday has delayed it all. But as soon as my voice is in fine fettle and my energy is in fine fettle, I shall get on it like a gazelle, leaping through the plains of Africa. Going mental now. So anyway, thank you for your support again. I hope you look forward to doing this guided meditation. I think you're going to love it. And hopefully it'll be ready for you tomorrow. So I really hope you're all doing well. I really hope you're enjoying my videos. Sorry I look so rough. Can't help it. But I said to you right at the beginning, I will show you me well, unwell, rough and unrough. I'm wondering when the unrough videos are going to start. Keep your emails coming, keep your messages coming to make my day. I was feeling particularly bad the other day. I got the most fantastic email from, I think it was Tracy, and it was just so heartwarming how I've helped her. I don't realise how much I help you on doing these videos, and then when I get these emails, I think, wow, just me chuntering away in front of a camera, and it's changing people's lives, and that's what all I ever wanted to do. So thank you for always giving me the feedback, because it does make my day. So Teddy's moaning because he hasn't been able to go out for a walk because I can't take him, and he's moaning. So there you go. That's who you're hearing. Have a great week. Stay focused, stay positive, and until next time, God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Enjoy the chamber. Let me know how you get on. Bye.